So a lot of interesting things going on with eHarmony. I would say one of the things we're most excited about is a research study we're doing on humor and if people can be matched on their sense of humor. It's something that everyone thinks is important. Everybody says they want someone with a great sense of humor. Men want that, women want that. Well, what does it mean? And can you really type people by sense of humor? We've been investigating that. We have a questionnaire we put people through where they look at 30-second videos, and then they rate each one whether they think that one's funny or not. And at the end of that process, we know what things they think are funny, and we can type them based on the sense of humor they have. Do they like physical humor, self-deprecating humor, sarcasm, witty humor, et cetera, et cetera. And once we know what they're into, then we're running projects where we put people together and see who they're attracted to. So we're building this body of science that helps us understand how to match people based on humor. We've never done it. In fact, no one's ever matched people on humor. And we think that it's pretty important. We've probably got another 6 to 8 weeks of research before we know exactly how to approach it.
Now, what would you tell someone who uses Tinder to get them to change over to something like eHarmony?
Well, I think it's really about what they're after. You know, I was in a stage of life where Tinder would have been perfect for me once upon a time. If you want to make a lot of casual connections, I think that Tinder's great at what they do. If you're in a stage of life where you want to meet a person and maybe build a relationship and start something more meaningful, eHarmony has a lot of experience in research making meaningful relationships. So we're a better choice, I would say, for that kind of thing. We're changing the site so that it's easier to use. So there's not going to be a lot of difference in terms of onboarding time and a lot of the things that are parts of eHarmony versus, say, Tinder. So it's really about what you want. If you want a serious relationship, we're doing a lot of in-depth matching that nobody else does.
Now, you said that you've done some stuff to modernize it. What have you done?
Yeah. Well, the first thing that we've done in the last 6 months is totally change the communication process. You know, I became CEO about 6 months ago, and I think it was a pretty easy decision to make to update the apps that we have and the site and rip out the things that felt sort of antiquated, like our communication system. So now it's just like text or Slack or something. It's an instantaneous sort of message system. That's something that we changed. We've made it easier to get matches. You don't have to take the whole questionnaire to get matches now. You can take 10 or 12 questions and we'll start to send you matches. And if you want to take more of the questionnaire, then you can get more compatible matches. So we're just making it easier to get going so that nobody chooses another service for ease of use.
Now, what is your success rate?
Well, the success rate that matters most to us is the success of the relationships that we make. I think that's another thing that differentiates us from these other companies. They're about having a fun date, and we're about having a successful relationship. So we've looked at marriages over a 7-year period, and we've looked at people that met in every way possible: school, church, match, all of our competitors. And eHarmony's divorce rate over that period is about 3.9%, which is far less than anyone else. So we think we're doing something right. The matching is important. Of course, the fact that we cost something is important. That keeps away maybe less serious people. The questionnaire is important. And just being sort of known as the relationship site is also, I think, very helpful in attracting the right kind of people.
What are the differences between men and women in their approaches to online dating?
Well, I think there's a lot of difference. I think that women tend to be more serious and more thoughtful. Not always, of course, but women understand the stakes, I think, better than men. A lot of times, especially younger men, don't put much effort into building a profile that's attractive, and men are not very good at pictures, quite frankly. They often will just throw up, some random pictures that don't help them out a lot. So there's a little different approach in terms of seriousness. Women are typically better writers than men, and so that's an important thing. You know, the stereotype is that men just look at the picture, and I can tell you on eHarmony that's not true. The picture matters a lot, but it's not the only thing that men consider. You know, men who want to get in a relationship understand that just picking the hottest woman is not a very good strategy.
Now, do you think opposites really attract?
Opposites definitely attract, and then they attack. Opposites are not a good idea if you want to have a relationship with somebody. Because, just think about it, you know, you're living your life with someone, and if you're opposite on all of these fundamental things, if you're opposite in how you see money, if you're opposite in how you see ambition, if you're opposite in how you see your social life, I mean, every one of these things would require a big compromise. And that kind of friction is what makes, you know, relationships die. Eventually, 5, 6, 7 years later, people just look at each other and go, man, this isn't fun anymore. You and I are not together on enough stuff. So it's fine if you like Chinese food and he likes Italian food. It's fine if you like different movies. You know, superficial stuff, you can be opposite all you want to. But the important things, similarity is really the best approach.
How did the election impact eHarmony?
Well, it did a lot of good stuff for our business. You know, we saw an upturn in people that want to use the service. We saw an upturn in communication within the company, within the service. And we've seen this before in times of trauma, in times of unpredictability. People sort of want to pair off. And so we've seen a lot of increased activity on the site. That's what's happened since the 8th of November.
Do you think singlephobia really exists?
I do. I think that people who are in relationships that are not good are scared of leaving. And we see that in the research. We see that a significant percentage of people that are in relationships, 25% of them, don't even like the relationship. But of those people, the vast majority, 75%, don't want to leave because they think it's scarier to be single. I think that's sad because in my own life I can tell you there's nothing worse than a bad relationship, but it's a real thing. People just don't want to be out in the world.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
Well, I think that you know, eHarmony is doing something that's pretty unique out there, and if you are single and it's a relationship that you're after, we're the best option. So I would encourage you to check it out. It's free today. We're having one of our free communication periods, so you can get in there and talk to people for free and see what you think.
Perfect. Well, thank you, and happy Valentine's Day to you.
Thanks a lot, Michelle.
Bye-bye.